What's going on, everybody? Sparks Comics here. Let's talk about this week's final order cutoff for the indie comic books coming from the Diamond catalog. That final order cutoff date this week is going to be September 5th, which is Labor Day. So you got time to think about it this weekend, get those orders into your shop. They may be closed on Monday, though, so you may have to get those orders in a little bit sooner. So, as I did last week, and I like this breakdown a little bit more, I'm going to talk about books that are issue number ones that are coming out on this final order cutoff first, and then we're going to get into the books that are recurring, or maybe they're a one-shot set in a recurring world, and we're going to break it down. Both of those, it's going to start at Image and move down into our other indie comics. So let's kick it off. First up, I've got one from Image Comics called FLAWED, issue number 1. This one coming from Chuck Brown and Prenzy. Bitterroot co-writer Chuck Brown and superstar artist Prenzy from On the Stump reunite for this ultra-violent, high-octane limited series that's Frasier meets The Punisher. Jem Ez is a psychiatrist in the Kafka-esque city of Setham, where corruption and brutality rule the streets. By day, she uses words to solve her patients' problems. By night, she takes a more direct and sometimes deadly approach. But when her practice puts her in the sights of an immortal serial killer, Jem finds herself embroiled in a power struggle that threatens everything she's ever known. We know how popular Bitterroot was and what a successful story that was. So be on the lookout for this one, because this seems like another great story coming from Chuck Brown, and Image Comics putting out some good stuff. So check this one out. It's a 6-issue miniseries. Got another number 1 coming from Image, from this time Declan Shalvey doing the writing and the art on this one. This one's called Old Dog, and Jack Lynch was once a promising CIA operative on the eve of retirement, looking back at a failed career. He is tasked with one final mission that goes horribly wrong. He wakes years later to a changed world and deeper changes within him. When a shadow group offers Lynch a second chance at a life of adventure, he's paired with the last person he could ever imagine. In order to adjust, this old dog will have to learn some new tricks. Is a striking new spy-fi series from Declan Shalvey, accomplished and innovative creator behind books such as Moon Knight, X-Men Unlimited, Injection, Time Before Time. The Winter Soldier meets Mission Impossible in this Bourne-esque action espionage blowout. So if you're into spy stories, action, this is one that you're going to want to pick up. Clayton Cowles listed on the cover as the letterer on this one. Moving down from Image, we got a new one from Boom. Briar, issue number 1 from Christopher Cantwell and German Garcia, which the artwork on this looks insane. I love what it looks like. We've got some really cool variants for this as well. I believe there's a Jenny Frison in there. So one to look for from the collectability perspective, but this looks like it's going to be a cool story. What if Sleeping Beauty never got her happily ever after and instead had to save herself? Set in a brutal fantasy world that time forgot, this isn't the fairy tale you know. Eisner Award nominated writer, producer, and director Christopher Cantwell and rising artist German Garcia from Khazar, Lord of the Savage Land, reimagined the classic tale as an epic dark fantasy adventure. We've gotten a lot of these like fairy tale reimaginings, or even Alice in Wonderland recently reimagining. So I don't think I've really seen a Sleeping Beauty story reimagined yet, and so this seems pretty cool. It's a 4-issue miniseries coming from Boom Studios and on FOC this week. Coming down to Dark Horse, we got a new one from Tim Seeley and Fran Galan. Fran Galan did the art on Lucky Devil, and I really liked that. This is a horror saga about nostalgia, heavy metal music, hell, and redemption. More than 35 years after his heyday, a former heavy metal roadie must return to the backroads of America to do a job he thought he'd retired from. Exorcist. But this time, he's not saving groupies and drunk bassists, he's trying to save his daughter. Tim Seeley is very talented. All of his stories that I've checked out have been fantastic. And teaming up with Fran Galan here, I think, is going to be an excellent pairing. So this one I'm definitely pulling. I'm pulling all of these except Old Dog, though I may pick it up. I'm going to look at it in the shop and decide from there. Story, I'm not super into spy stories all the time, so that's why I hesitate on it. But Declan Shalvey does a great job with his storytelling. So for this one, though, highly recommend picking this one up. It's a 4-issue miniseries coming from Dark Horse Comics. The last of the number ones that I've got on my list this week is one from Scout Comics, and that is Kill Cella #1 from Mario Candelaria and Serg Acuna. A group of friends drive up from Los Angeles to attend an ultra-trendy music festival in the Coachella Valley Desert. They soon face a bloody night of terror when a reclusive pop star, making her big return after 5 years, recruits her most fanatical devotees to assist in a massive human sacrifice ritual. Coachella meets axe murdering, human sacrificing kind of things. Sounds like a good time. So that's the last of the new issues coming out that are on FOC this week that I'm looking at. Next up, we've got the ones that are already coming out and books that I think you should be checking out. And the first one, coming back up to Image Comics, is, of course, 8 Billion Genies. We got issue number 5 of 8 here from Charles Soule and Ryan Brown. We are now to the first 8 months. In the 8 months after G-Day, when everyone on Earth acquired a genie and one wish, the world has become a very strange place, full of danger and whimsy and more danger. We need a hero for these times. We need the Idea Man. We met the Idea Man at the end of last issue. So let's see what the Idea Man has in store for the world and how he can maybe help fix it, help things get back on track. But yeah, issue 5 of 8. If you haven't been reading this one, I highly recommend checking out. There have been reprints on all the issues so far, I believe. So you can get that for a cheap cost and not have to pay the $30+ for issue number 1. So yeah, go check that one out. Moving down to Boom, we have a graphic novel coming out called Hollow. This one from Shannon Waters, Brendan Boyer-White, and Bernice Nell. Naomi Franke's doing the cover of this graphic novel. It's coming out in hardcover and paperback. Isabel Izzy Crane and her family just moved to the infamous Sleepy Hollow, but as a slick skeptic from the city, she's too busy adjusting to the change of scenery for ghost stories. They're not real, after all. Then she meets Vicky Van Tassel, yes, that Van Tassel, and the lovable prankster Croc Bune. Vicky's weariness with the legend turns to terror when the Horseman himself shows up, along with a curse set on destroying the Van Tassel line. Now they have only until Halloween night to break the curse. What an inconvenient time for Izzy to develop a massive crush on Vicky. Can Izzy and her new friends uncover the mystery of the Headless Horseman before it's too late? New York Times bestselling writer Shannon Waters from Lumberjanes and debut author Brendan Boyer-White are joined by artist Bernice Nell in a modern coming-of-age sequel to The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. This one was in the Free Comic Book Day stuff from Boom. So you got a little taste of this. It looks really interesting. So I think this is one worth checking out, especially if you're into reading trades versus single issues. This right here would be a great way to go. Next up from Boom is House of Slaughter, issue number 9 from James Tynion, Sam Johns, Werther Dell'Edera, and Letizia Cadanici. Raphael Albuquerque, of course, bringing us this awesome cover here. Edwin finally comes face to face with the legendary monster he's been hunting. Against all odds, will he be able to survive the encounter? Meanwhile, return to the past where a young child faces a very different kind of watery terror. Some of the stuff coming from that last issue and the way that he's approaching this monster is really cool, and I think it's giving us some insight into the monsters of the world a little bit more, and I like that versus just like, well, they pop up when kids are afraid and have kind of brought them into the world from their thinking. So this is really cool. I'm very much a fan of them exploring these other aspects. So that is on FOC this week. We're going to move down to the comics and graphics novel section on the Final Orders Due page. And first up from Aftershock Comics, we have Astronaut Down number 4. I believe this is the last issue from James Patrick and Rubine. Douglas has crash landed in a new reality. He's stranded there. His ability to send transmission is gone, and the worst thing possible has happened. In this reality, he's a hero, and everything he's ever wanted exists, including his wife. But it all comes at the expense of his own reality. Every thank you, every gift, and every dream come true is now torture, since he can't save the dying world he once called home. Or can he? Can he? I believe this is the last issue. It could have 5 issues, but I think when I looked before, this was a 4-issue series. But it's been so great, so emotional. So if you're looking for that kind of thing, I'm wrong. There is an issue 5 on this. But if you're looking for an emotional sci-fi story, check out Astronaut Down. It's fantastic. Speaking of emotional stories, we've got a one-shot that is a Halloween special for Destiny New York from Pat Shand. This one, art looks like Yolanda Zanfardino, Moy R, and Jeffrey Moy. Looks like Shannon Lee, Jim Campbell also credited on this. And if you haven't been reading the Destiny New York world, if you want something magical but also very emotional, very just character driven, check out Destiny New York. Pat Shand is an incredible writer, and this world already has 5 volumes that he's written through Kickstarter, and I think Black Mask has put out maybe 2 of those volumes, but I think they don't necessarily line up exactly there. Plus, he's got different things coming from that world where he looks at other characters. So we have Gangsta Ass Barista. We've got I'm forgetting her name, Cherry something Necromancer. So we got like all kinds of different things, but magic in this world is really cool. And a quote on here: this book is a cross between The Sopranos and Harry Potter. It's everything we never knew we wanted and now can't do without. Slamming art, masterfully written. I agree. Yeah, essentially slice of life in a fantasy magical world. That's it. Moving on from Destiny New York, we go to one coming from Sumerian Comics. That's right, formerly Behemoth Comics. Kingdom Come Deliverance, issue number 3 from Brett Murphy and Wilson Gandolfo, the awesome team that brought us Paranormal Hitman. Writing this story based on the comic series. It's a prequel to the comic series, and just killing it. Issue 1 is out. Issue 2 has not hit stands yet, but should be coming relatively soon. Sir Hugo's plan goes awry when he's caught by one of King Sigismund's men. Meanwhile, Runt loses control of his team of bandits in the deadly attack on Niehoff. This leads Runt to hunt down one of his disloyal bandits. Find out the fate of the disloyal bandit in Death Among Us. And last but not least, we've got one from Mad Cave Studios I want to talk about. It is they've been doing these legacy MCS legacy versions of their comics, kind of re-releasing issue number 1s. I picked up the Nottingham one that came out this last week, and a story that I absolutely love and thought is something everyone should check out is Beck Star, and it is getting its MCS legacy version this it's on the cutoff this week. Joe Corallo writing the story, Lorenzo Colangeli doing the art, and this cool new cover from Shannon Garrity is what we've got going on here. And if you haven't heard of Beck Star, Beck Star is a star-hopping mercenary light years away from Earth, leaving her old life behind with the help of her magical lucky dagger and her biggest fan only friend, Sally Sulin. Beckstar ekes out a living under the nefarious Shadow Syndicate's radar, but when a mysterious girl appears with grim news and an urgent quest where the fate of the universe hangs in the balance, Beckstar has no choice but to join. And regret it immediately. The world just expands issue after issue in this, so check this out. It's $2.99 price tag on these legacy versions. See if you're interested in the story, and if you are, go pick up the trade paperback and just read this story because it's a fantastic sci-fi story. That's it for Final Order Cutoff this week. Thank you guys for watching. As always, collect what you love. See you next time.